Dr. Tessier, I'm just thrilled. I'm just thrilled that you came in today. Thank you so much. I can't read your entire bio because it's way too long. Few remarks for anyone who hasn't seen it. Dr. Tessier, for the past 6 years, has successfully worked with underprivileged and addicted populations in Sri Lanka. He's published some of that research through the Pranic Research Institute, a master of many different modalities and techniques in energy medicine. He's a Reiki master, an energy harmonization healing practitioner, certified quantum touch practitioner, and many other energy healing modalities. He is also a lecturer. He comes from Montreal. And take it away, Dr. Tessier.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this invitation. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Morning.
For me, it's not the morning. For me, it's the evening. For me, it's around 7:30, 7:45 in Sri Lanka, because I am in Sri Lanka. So I'm very happy to be with you guys. And as you already are healers, I will be able to go a little bit faster, a little bit deeper. And right, because you already know about the modalities, which I usually have to introduce. Why? So when I spoke with Alison, she wanted to talk about one of my preferred topics, addiction. I have worked a lot with addiction. I have worked a lot, period, but I have worked a lot with addiction and strong addiction. I must say to you guys that I live in Sri Lanka since full-time since 2019, at the beginning of 2019. However, I came for the first time in 2014 because I'm a graduate student from the Open International University for Complementary Medicine in Sri Lanka. Thanks to my affiliation with the Canadian College, International College of Psychic and Spiritual Science in Montreal. So these two institutions work together, and the certificates emitted by the Canadian College are transformed by academic committee of the university here. So I came here in 2014 to make a lecture at the university annual congress, and that was literally the first time that I have put my foot on that ground of that country, and I had a shock, and I decided right there that I would stay here one day. And between 2014 and 2018, I came around 10 times to do health camp. And one of my Sri Lankan friends is a director of one of the bigger drug and alcohol addict center in the north of the country, a locality called Katana. And they're just unbelievably sick. It's just out of what you can imagine, because Sri Lanka is an underprivileged country, and it has nothing to do, the quality of life is not what you are used to in North America. So it just hit my heart deeply inside of me. I decided to change my life and to dedicate myself to to help these people because I kind of felt in love with the country, with the culture, and I felt absolutely sad about that. And also, I also felt that here in Sri Lanka, I could do my job. In Canada, I have always to explain myself. And here, people just need to be cured here. They just need to receive healing. And so you cut the time of explanations of what you're doing, right? And the severity of the cases are unbelievable because, there is a medical system here, but the hospitals are not what you are used to in North America at all, right? So this is for the introduction, and I'm settled in Sri Lanka since the beginning of 2019. And what's going on? I think I have some problems of sound here. No. Give me 1 second, please. No, everything is okay. Right, so today I prepared you a small summary of what I have done with drug and alcohol addict here at this center. The center was created by a Christian brother with inherited family land. It's literally in a huge coconut plantation, not exploited, and it is retired from the world so that the drug addicts that are going there cannot escape. The situation here is really bad. Sri Lanka is a small country, 40 kilometers. It's an island and it's under India. We are located 40 kilometers from India. And there is a specificity in the drug transition between Afghanistan to the rest of Asia, Thailand, Vietnam, and so on. And it makes it like a turning point. And so that the people that are here, that are addicts, are catched by the dealers. They become really addicts, so they hire them to be sellers, right? So they become completely addict, and the big dealer recruit young boys in the streets over here, and quite young. So and they bring them into Thailand, into Macau, into Vietnam, Malaysia, and mainly the situation is they are taking heroin, right? That's the main problem. And it's a severe problem because they destroy their life, they destroy the life of their family, they destroy the life of their small community, which is already very poor. So there is a lot of consequences, the personal consequence, of course, on the addict person, but a lot of social consequences. And so this is completely difficult situation. So I put together a research project with the director of that center, my friend Gerard Fernando, and I will jump to the presentation I've prepared for you, and I'll talk to you about what we've done together. Give me 1 second, I will share my screen here, and it's there. Okay. Right. So this research we've done is called the effect of complementary therapy care on drug addict in Sri Lanka. Complementary therapy care, because we have used two modalities. I am a pranic healer. I'm an energy healing therapist. I practice many different modalities, but I've used mainly pranic healing. Basically, I am using most of the time pranic healing in my practice. And my friend, Dr. Gerard, is himself an auriculotherapist, which is ear acupuncture, right? So we had a 21 young boy, right? We were having 21 residents of that center. And we decided to put together this cohort and collect data from the treatment plan. We established a treatment plan, and most of the case were heroin, but there were long-term alcoholic drinkers, and some were having psychological problems, taking marijuana, etc. Right? So these are the peeps of my studies. Some are missing, and some are, you know, the group was not completely stable. I would say altogether it involved 30 persons, but you know, these guys stay and go and stay and go, etc. But I would say there were 21 people, 21 boys. There is a girl center now. Since that time, at that moment, there were not the girl center, but there is a girl center now. And so the study only analyzed the data collected out of 21 residents, okay? So for 1 month, we followed this guy, and we decided to start the protocol, the healing protocol, by a group healing, because well, all of you are pranic healer, and when I was scanning the location, each of the individuals, I was having the name, I was having their picture, and it was unbelievable what I felt. It's very difficult to describe. It was like a zoo. My God, there were so many things inside of their aura. There is a lot of elementals. There was a lot of dirty energy. They were sick. Some of them were kind of schizophrenic. It was a complex situation. It's not only addiction. It comes with many other physical and mental problems at the same time, right? So we decided to start the protocol by group healing. So they found a small place where they could lay down on the floor together. And what you have to know is these persons know nothing about energy healing, don't know English, have no belief system. They don't believe in anything. They are brought there by the police, and all they want is to leave as fast as possible, right? So I sent them a small message that I sent by WhatsApp to my friend Gerard Fernando, and Gerard read them the message and translated that in Sinhalese so that they could understand what I was doing. But it was a 3-minute message. That's all I could do. So we gathered them in a room, and at a precise time, after they read the message, they laid down. As you can see, this is the picture that Gerard sent me after the first session. So we started the protocol by group healing to, I would say, break the shell, because the level of stress, anger, the level of negative emotion was at the maximum, okay? Uh, that first group healing was astounding. It was, the result of this was just unbelievable. It was made at 9 o'clock in the morning at Sri Lankan time, right? At that time of the day here in Sri Lanka, it's 32 degrees, right? It is extremely hot. And this small room was extremely hot. 100% of the, or most of the participants after that group session were freezing. They felt that they were like completely freezing. They was having their goosebumps on all their body. Something happened. So what each of the individual could not describe it the same way, but they were freezing. It was very cold for them. Instead of the hot weather that we usually have, they were freezing, right? So that first group healing was to break the ice. Then after, we could establish a combined treatment plan, alternating pranic healing, distant remote pranic healing session. At that moment, I was not physically in Sri Lanka. At that moment, I was in Canada. I was not there. And I met them a few months after, like 5-6 months after. Not all of them, because some were gone. So when the ice was broken, they became suddenly crazy about it, because they could see the light out of the tunnel. This remote healing, the first remote healing session was about, I would say, as I could remember, 45 minutes, right? So what I've done at that moment, since all of you are pranic healer, what I've done is that I gathered them together as one, and I did basically all the chakra and the complete aura with electric violet, and I repaired the web of all of their upper chakra, and using crystal, right? I'm a pranic healer. I use crystals, so I was using crystal disintegrator. I was having also extractor, and I have 12 extractor, one big, two medium, and 9 small. So most of their chakra were having also a crystal layout, and I was using also the disintegrator, right? So I've used everything I could. I was having everything I could to help them, right? So the first thing was a group distant pranic healing session. Then after, Gérard was giving them individual auriculotherapy sessions, and with a laser. He was having a laser, and he was putting the laser on certain point in the ear. So auriculotherapy is acupuncture into the ear. And then after, they were receiving distant pranic healing session, long session. So, and it was done in the morning, individually. I was not talking to them because first of all, they don't speak English. And secondly, they are brought there by the police, and before the group pranic healing, they didn't want to participate, but Gérard kind of gave them like because at that center there is a program, they have to follow some program, so it was into their program. But after the group, the group distant healing, they became crazy and very happy. The level of emotion minimized a lot. So I gave individual pranic healing session, and they received individual auriculotherapy session, right? So what is pranic healing here? I don't think you need to read that slide. I would like to show you a video that I have made out of my intervention, because I went to this center so many times. So it's a 3-minute video so that you can understand the work that I have done there after the research. and some of them were the participants.
අප ශ්‍රී ලංකාව තුළ මද්‍රව්‍ය ව්‍යසනය ඉතාම භයානක විදිහට ව්‍යාප්ත වී පවතිනවා. දැනට වසර ගණනාවකට වඩා ඉතාමත් වේගයෙන් මද්‍රව්‍ය ව්‍යාප්තිය ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙනවා. ඒ හා සමගම විශේෂයෙන් පාසල් අවට දරුවන්ව ග්‍රහණය කරගන්නා වූ විවිධ ක්‍රම මද්‍රව්‍ය අලෙවි කරන්නන් විසින්
The service of Awaken Foundation started in our center in 2015, the beginning of 2015. Since then, they have been doing a lot of activities through which we are observing very significant impact on our residents to their freedom from addiction. Is going to be very, very helpful to improve the recovery percentage, what is our main effort of our residents. In a humanitarian context, it is totally good. It is totally a new innovation kind of thing in Sri Lanka. It is new approach.
මේ ගොඩක් මේ මාත්‍යාලි සුදුන්ත වෙනවා මේ යෝග භාගය යෝගී භාවනාවක් අපිට මෙයා කරලා දුන්නාට අපේ ශරීරයට සුවයක් දැනෙනවා ඒ වගේම මේ වාතාව දෙවියෝ රකින්න ඕනේ දේශනාංශ රකින්න ඕනේ දුකී දුප්පත් අපේ පළාත් වලට ගිහිල්ලා කරන මේවරට නන්න මෙවැනි මාතෘ දෙවියන් රකින්න ඕනේ මම ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා මේ මාත්‍යාට අපේ වගේ දිලිඳු රටකට ඇවිල්ලා අපි වගේ අසරණ වෙලා ඉන්න නේවාසිකයන්ට මෙවැනි සාර්ථක වැඩපිළිවෙල ඉදිරියට කරගෙන යන්න ශක්තිය ධෛර්යය ලැබෙන්න කියලා මම ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. Thank you very much.
NGO at that moment that was called Awaken Foundation. That doesn't exist anymore. Awaken Foundation, the term Awaken is, I would translate that as Namaste because Namaste is Indian, is Tamil, and is said like in the Indian culture, but here they don't say Namaste, they say Awaken. It means long life. It means good day. It means I recognize your soul. So it's a little bit like Atma Namaste, but they are telling that every day when they meet you, when they answer on the phone, blah blah blah. So Awaken Foundation was based on this term that they know very much. The general psychological and physical symptom of the patient before the study were as follow. Craving, okay? The craving sensation was absolutely high. And when they get at this center, they are deprived of their substance. So they are into a very bad physical condition. They shake, their heart is beating very fast. They become dizzy, they have no energy, they sweat a lot. And they can't work, they can't do anything. Their stamina, their tonus, their energy tonus is extremely low, right? So depending on the length of their addiction, the severity of the symptom was very high or medium, but low craving doesn't exist. The level of craving for the substance is extreme at that place, right? they could kill to have their substance. And some of them have killed already. And as you could see in the video, some of them are quite young, right? And they were, the younger one are taken by big drug dealer, and they are addicted, and they become drug dealers, smaller street drug dealers, right? Psychological disorder is the second symptom. I mean, stress, irritability, anger, aggressiveness, depression, anxiety, nervousness, lack of willpower, feeble spiritual tendencies. And this is something that you might notice here, because it's an extremely religious country. There is 3 big religions here: Christianity, well, 4, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Muslims. And the drug addict believe in nothing. They believe in their drug, period. And so there is no connection with the spiritual world at all. And what I did not mention is most of them are suffering from schizophrenia, or attention deficit disorder as well, or Parkinson, and or all of them, and sometimes epilepsy. So as you can see, that's a complex situation physically and psychologically. Well, okay, I forgot. So the psychiatric disorder are schizophrenia, attention deficit disorder, a lot of hallucination, poor autonomic nerve system, and some of them are lost. They don't know where is left, where is right. They are like zombie, right? Physical condition, well, I mean, we could have a list long like you can't believe. So they were having a weak liver, kidney, heart, lung, weak immune system. They are catching everything. There is a small flu going on. Everybody catch the flu. And as you can see, the hygiene condition in which they live at this center, it's an extremely poor, not-for-profit center. So the hygiene condition is minimal. They have absolutely nothing to well, they have very few things to have the basic needs, because this center works with donation, right? More than 60% are diabetics. And it's a condition that you find here in Sri Lanka. Diabetes type 2 is extremely everywhere. Everybody has diabetes, right? Because of the food, because what they are eating a lot of rice, a lot of sugar. Sugar is cheap, so so diabetes is completely a disaster in that country. And at that in that center, it was like a microcosm of what we can find on the country, right? Prostate condition, especially in elderly resident. Alcoholic were having weak sexual capacities, and tremor, a lot of tremor. Most of them have tremor, and excessive sweating, right? They are, because it is very hot here, sometimes to 36, 34, but the sweating is not necessarily due to the weather. It's because of the craving sensation. They are having this symptom, okay? Energy tonus, no energy, no stamina, no energy. Apathy and lethargy is something that you find constantly. Constantly, they are lethargic. They want to do nothing. They have no energy, right? So this is Master Glenn. You know Master Glenn, no? Master Glenn Mendoza invited me to present this study. This is poster presentation that I have done to introduce my research in Bogota in 2015, I think. And look at the result. I will jump fastly on the, whoops. Okay, so after the treatment, what we could report is feeling cold. Okay, most of them, as I said, were having excessive sweating. After the treatment, they were feeling cool, cold. So the excessive sweating finished. There is a small percentage of them that were having maybe a hot flash, but most of them felt absolutely cold, falling asleep. And what you have to understand is these people are insomniac. Even if they are apathic and no energy, they don't sleep. During the nighttime at that place, there is screams all over the place. They scream, and it's not a quiet place at all to sleep. Even if it's a retired place, they don't sleep. So at that, during each of their group healing or individual healing, half of them fell asleep, and those that didn't fall asleep, they were feeling body numbness, floating sensation, etc. And they were having some, I would say, positive thoughts, or I would say various vision. And we just wanted to know if it was hallucination, and it was completely different from their hallucination, because some of them are schizophrenic, but I won't enter into the details, but we can confirm that the vision that they were having was kind of angelic messages. It was not having the same density as their hallucination. If we compare these visions that they were having, receiving the treatment, were not hallucination that they were used to when they are on the drug, or the schizophrenic one, when they are having their hallucination. Most of the time, this is fear hallucination. They are scared of their hallucination. They don't like that. And the various visions that they were having were absolutely positive. Some were negative, as I could remember, but most of them were positive visions. The most interesting result of that study is the relapse rate was extremely low. Okay, this center exists since the 90s, and the relapse rate is very high. 80% of the resident that goes into the center relapse. So they have to come back, or they escape. There is a lot of youth that escape. They go. And our group of 21 to 30 residents, the relapse rate was very low. 2 of them escaped during the treatment plan. And that's rare. Even the brother that you saw in the video at the beginning, this brother, the founder, couldn't believe it. This brother, we love each other, but he doesn't believe in what I do. He's always a little bit confused about what I'm doing because of his personal religious belief. He doesn't understand very much what I am doing, but he could himself observe that the relapse rate of the patient that we treated was extremely low, right? One very important factor is the disappearance, vanishing of lethargy, and very fastly during the immediate day after receiving their treatments, pranic healing treatment, complete vanishing of lethargy and lack of energy or low stamina, right? Another thing is the vanishing of the craving, 81%. Craving is a very important factor to control for addiction, right? The craving is mental, psychological, and physical. There is like, they have shiver, they really want to, they are anxious, they are angry, they want you to, they want to have their substance. They are ready to kill to have their substance, because you must understand that sometimes they were addicts for so many years, right? The craving disappeared sometimes after the first treatment, sometimes after the second treatment. And right, so that's a very important result for, because, and it was not observed with any other treatment plan that this center is trying for so many years. So The vanishing of the craving is a good result. The stress minimize, the negative emotion minimize, the gain of willpower maximize, I would say, and spiritual connection maximize a lot. Most of them saw something, we reported that they felt that there was something over there, etc. So, and spiritual connection, I'm not talking about religion here, I'm talking here about reconnection, right? So if in all of the drug and alcohol addiction treatments, spiritual connection is a key factor of success for the treatment plan. Because if they reconnect with something higher, with the source, the divinity, or whatever you call it, it helps them to continue to follow up and to believe in something, and to believe in themselves, to believe that they will help. They will be helped by someone that is bigger than themselves, right? So spiritual reconnection has been proven. Yeah, I remember. So there is studies that is confirming this this statement, because I'm not just stating that because I am a believer. It is something that help the addict people to recover. Okay, right. So basically, what we were doing is cleansing, re-energizing, as we always doing in a pranic healing session. These are things that I have put for the one that do not know about energy healing. 1 second. Thank you. Well, okay. I'm not finished. Right. There is other things that I have done while there. So this is the study. There is an immense amount of data that we collected, but when I was there, I did a lot of individual sessions on the more bigger cases. Schizophrenia, it's a huge problem, right? And one of them was not expected. I will tell you the story. That's a 65 years old man, violent. And he is schizophrenic. He is a resident of the center since 2 years, which is exceptional. Because they don't stay there 2 years, they stay for a certain amount of time, right? But I was talking with Brother Addict, the founder, and suddenly I was hearing screams, so loud scream, and some sound that I was not identifying. So I was asking to Brother Addict what this was, and he said, "Oh, this is that man." He said he's a schizophrenic, he's violent, everybody is scared of him. He's he can hit someone, and he's very strong. So they put it in isolation in like a prison, right? And there is nothing. There is the floor is in cement, and there is absolutely nothing. And he was screaming like hell, and he was moving like the door. He was making a lot of noise. He was gone. So I went there. I asked permission, and I did love energy projection that we are used to do in quantum touch. In quantum touch level 2, we are projecting love from the heart chakra, and we are enveloping the patient with love energy, right? And we never know the result, but in quantum touch, we use it for so many things. Adjusting the spine, we can see the spine being adjusted. We work with autistic children. We project love energy on the forehead, and suddenly their mind change. It's a very powerful technique. Quantum touch level 2 is amazingly powerful. So I projected. I was like, let's say 10 foot from the patient, and Brother Ajit says, "You cannot go there. Be careful. He's very violent. He may hurt you. He's very strong." I says, "Don't worry." So I project love energy on this patient. After around 2 minutes, he shut up, maybe 1 minute, I don't remember. He completely stopped, and 30 seconds later, sit on the ground, and another 30 seconds later, laid on the ground, and went into like a deep sleep. And Brother Ajit was there, and Brother Ajit told me, I never saw that. I literally never saw this patient behaving like this, because when this patient starts, it can be like this for 5 hours, 4 hours, and because he's very strong and he screams very loud and he's scaring everybody around him. So by doing this love energy projection from the heart chakra, he completely calmed down. And the day after, because I was not staying at the center, when I came the day after, the patient was more awake. The patient was talking to others because he's schizophrenic. And when you are schizophrenic, you are in your world. I don't know if you treated some schizophrenia before. I did. And they are not communicating with you, or they are outside of the world, right? And there were some big improvement, and I was doing that for 10 minutes. It was not a long intervention. It was a 10-minute intervention, and he became more conscious. And the days after, when I went, he recognized me. And he told me, I knew you were doing something to me. And he said, I was receiving what you were doing to me. I knew you did something to me, right? So, and you never know, right? You don't know the result. As you are healer, it's the same thing for all of the patient. You never know the result before you do the treatment. And it's something, I become a little bit anxious because you really want to help them. They're in a very bad condition and you really want to make the difference. You really, really hope that they will feel something, right? And it's just amazing because the result is there. I mean, there is a lot of improvement and recovery. There were one case from that center. He lives in the Maldives. Well, Sri Lanka is an island, and Sri Lanka is connected with another country called Maldives Island. These are many islands. It's very tiny, tiny islands, so they are connected together. It's a paradise, but it's also a hell because it's a very touristic area. And but the Maldivians people are all on drugs, and they are all suffering from severe health condition, psychological condition. The tourists go there, spend their money and go, and they don't see that, but the Maldivian people are extremely poor, and all of them are addicts. So I treated remotely a young boy of 19 years old, and he was telling me his story that he started to take heavy drugs since the age of 9 years old. 9 years old, and he was 19 years old. So, and he told me the story of the loss of his younger brother that was died by murdered and etc. So, you know, when you work with these people, you work with trauma, right? They really are into traumatic experience. They live constantly in the fear. So love energy combined with pranic healing has proven to make a lot of differences. This guy, Craving, finished very rapidly. He was having an excessive craving because he was taking heavy chemical drugs, and he was into rave party, and he was taking drugs all day long, and he was a diver. He was, all of the boy in this country works as diver. They go dive something for the tourist, and they're getting money out of that, no? But they are on drugs, heavy drugs, chemical drugs. So they put their life at risk, right? And he stopped quite fast. So these are success stories. I was exchanging with Allison before I did this presentation about addiction. And I would like to put a very important recommendation is not believe that you are going alone to achieve the goal of cutting completely the addiction of these patients. It's not realistic because addiction is a complex situation. There is many layers, right? And I still have addict people here and in Canada remotely. And addiction, you can do, I would say, a job in complementarity with other approaches. There must be counseling, there must be a rehabilitation program, there must be a follow-up because the relapse rate is going to be high again. You cannot achieve the goal of I would say, completely cure the situation. It's not true. And I have done so many of them, and yes, there is result. We see the craving minimizing. There is, you know, physically they feel better. So if they are feeling better, of course, they are going to be encouraged to continue to, so their willpower will be stimulated, right? You can work on their willpower, but they have to be counseling. These young people need to be counseled. And I'm telling young people, but sometimes they're not so young. I had some patients that were in the 60s, 65, and long-term drinker, taking also marijuana, so lost in space, completely lost in space, no willpower, right? So yes, we are making a big difference. And yes, we are supporting the condition of these patients, but also we must encourage them, if not to be with support group. They need to have relevant, competent counselors. One thing that is very important that out of my observation also, before you treat addict people, drug and alcohol addict people, is, how could I phrase it? The first, and this I have learned at that center, they have to decide to stop. So you start to treat them after they decide to stop, after you have the confirmation that they confirm to you that, yes, they want to stop. And it's not an option. You are stopping now. So if you are not having this confirmation, you are losing your time completely, and you are losing the patient's time. You can help and you can do some support, but it will have you. It's like cleaning a floor and entering into the room with dirty boots right after. So you become a little bit counselor, no? So you need to make them understand that today is the day that you are stopping. And you have to use your own counseling skills to convince them, not convince, but I would say stimulate their willpower, because it's not in between your hands. You are not the healer. You know that already, no? You are not the one that heals. You are a medium. So our role as healer with drug and alcohol addict is to stimulate their will. And I have a case right now, and he believes that it calms him down. He says, and he has other psychological problems. He says, I'm taking the substance because I am calmed down. They have no awareness. He is not calm at all. He is violent, he is stressed, but he believes that he is calmed down. So the job that you have to do is to make them aware that it's not true. You're not calm. You're calm 5 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. The day after, you're depressed, you're stressed, you're tired, you're down, your stamina is down. So it's not true. You have to be very firm also And I was a little bit shocked because I'm a soft guy when I treat, you know, I envelope them with love, but firm, I would say the soft, firm approach. And that was new for me. At that center, you have to tell, you stop, but you have to give them love. So it's a mixture between, not authority, how could I say that? You know, they have to be certain of themselves. These people are telling me after, I use your own voice when I want to stop. I hear your own voice telling me I have to stop. So you understand what I mean, no? It's like by resonance, they are going to be inspired by what you're telling them. It's not an order. It's not authority, but you have to make them completely aware that today it's the day where you stop. When you are going to cross that door, it is finished. You are not taking the substance anymore. And you are going to be supported. Yes, maybe you will crave, right? But you are going to receive some support, but you have to take the decision that today is the end, period. If you are not ready for this, wait a little bit and come back to see me the day you will be decided. If you don't do that, you lose your time completely. I've tried it so many times. One of my patients, she was on crack. And I realized that she was taking crack before, in the between, and after the healing session. It's nonsensical. It makes absolutely no nonsense. You lose your time completely. Just to conclude, my personal motivation to help these people is love. Because the amount of love that you receive from them is most of the time bigger than the one that you are giving to them. They are very happy about your help, but these people, most of them are missing love, right? So when you give them love, they return it to you. And when you receive that, you return it to them. So there is an immense channel of love that is going on. So this is very, as a therapist, resourceful, right? It's a very resourceful activity, and it's very an amazing service to give, right? So I encourage all of you to, if you are pranic healer, you have the protocol, apply them, you know what to do. But the other aspect, the counseling aspect and the social aspect, the psychological aspect, the physical aspect has to be followed by doctors, counselors, and if you have some counselor skill, use them with these people, right? So you can unmute if you have any question, comment, remark. I please welcome them right now. You can unmute your microphone. Alison?
I have one question. That was an amazing, amazing presentation. Thank you so much. So my question is, you are obviously an extremely, extremely experienced and expert healer. In order to be effective, I mean, really, you know, you are, but for someone who's new to healing work, for someone who's new to pranic healing work, can they work with addiction cases?
Okay. I will tell you something, Alison. When I came to healing, I did not choose that, right? I did not choose to be a healer at all. My main profession is television producer, right? So I completely did not choose to do the healing, but it came to me, right? And when I was having my first cases, it was like a criminal man that was armed. I was scared like hell. He was having so many psychological problems. So I was scared, terrified. What will I do? I felt like I was green. And I was about to refuse to help, to heal. I was telling to myself, I am not going to welcome this person in my house. Oh my God, no, never. However, while I was thinking of that, I was hearing voices, and I'm not schizophrenic. I'm also a psychic medium. I'm trained psychic medium at the International College in Montreal, but I don't believe in what I hear all the time, you know. I tend not to believe too much because, well, I received a message that, don't worry, and I was feeling a hand in my back. And that hand was holding my back and told me, we are sending him to you. Please accept, you will succeed. You will succeed. This man wanted to commit suicide. He was self-harming. You see that kind of cases, it's like not a small case. Huh? And so I accepted. I did the session with this man, this young boy. At that age, he was 19 years old. He was selling drug, taking alcohol, name it. He was not schizophrenic, but autist. And, well, he was sent to me. So I understood that the patient that comes to me are sent to me. Yeah. So, however, they sent thousands of them because I consider myself as a professional healer, and so I had thousands of patients that came to me, right? And so to answer your question is follow what is sent to you. And if it comes to yourself, maybe it's because you need to have, as a healer personally, you need to receive these people in your life. You need to welcome these people in your life. And I was not thinking like that like 10, 12 years ago, at all. At all, you know. I was not ready to welcome someone that is armed and that smell the booze and that is aggressive, has, you know. And I got such amazing result with this person. So welcome this, and don't worry if you don't know everything. Do what you have to do now and rely on what you are hearing. Rely to the message that you are receiving, right? And I'm the best, worst example because I don't believe in what I hear. But 3 minutes after, I understand that I have to. Because what I'm facing is what I was told 3 minutes ago by the voices, right? They talk to me, right? So, so yes, do it and explain your limit or your fear, or if you don't feel ready, don't go. But if it is sent to you, it means that you have to. Does it make sense, Alison?
Yes, thank you. Dr. Tessier, we're at about an hour, so I'm going to stop the recording. And if anyone else has questions, the floor is wide open, but I'm going to stop recording right now for those persons. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.